So real quick, I want to give you another tech tip for teachers that I think is necessary for the 21st century. So I'm going to plug my MacBook Pro into an external monitor, and I want you to see why that's so valuable, okay? But in order for me to do it, I've got to have an HDMI cable running to the monitor, and I've got to have some sort of dongle that for a MacBook Pro goes USB-C to HDMI, okay? So in the show notes, I'll have a couple linked that you could buy, but here's an example, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this HDMI and I'm going to plug it into the dongle, right? And then I'm going to plug that dongle into the Mac in the USB-C port. Now, a lot of those dongles even have where you can plug power into the dongle, which is awesome. Now, you'll see here in just a second that what's on my Mac now shows up on the monitor as well. Now, this makes it really easy for teachers to do things like put in grades, because you could pull up the grades on your left screen, and then you could put the screen where you're editing or entering the grades on your right screen, and so are able to see both screens at the very same time. You can also show students things on this who maybe come up to your desk, right? Now, one of the coolest things I like about it is check out how I'm going to take this that's on the computer screen, and I'm going to bring it over to the Mac screen, right? So you can set these two where they're two different screens, and then I can take and drag this back over to the monitor, right? And so that's just a really easy solution. But let me show you also what's called clamshell on the Mac, okay? Now, notice when I close this Mac, it turns off. The monitor turns off. Well, the reason is because I don't have power plugged into the Mac. If I plug power into the Mac, okay, I've got my power cable here. If I plug power into the Mac and then I close the computer, then the monitor stays on and it's in what's called clamshell mode, right? So the computer is using the monitor as the computer screen now and not using the computer at all for the screen. And then I could just take and move my computer out of the way and still use the computer here, right? Which is real awesome. Now remember, that only works if I've got power run into the Mac. But here's a perfect example of how you could use a monitor in your classroom as just a bigger display for what you're doing.